Jesus, you were gonna kill that guy!
Of course, I'm a Terminator.
Listen to me very carefully. You can't just go around killing people like that.
Why?
Because they're people and they have feelings and emotions.
Why?
Because, you know, to think about it, I don't really care. I mean, your name's Terminator. Who gives a shit, right? That's your job to kill people. What am I doing arguing with you? You're saving my life from a guy made out of liquid metal. Why am I telling you not to kill people? Who cares, man? And the world's supposed to end anyway, you know? There's supposed to be like a nuclear explosion happening in 1997. So, yeah, just kill everybody you want, just as long as you protect me, okay?
Why?
So first up we have the Terminator Anthology, and this is a Best Buy exclusive, and let me, just real quick though, I have T2 in here right now, and right now it says Skynet is unable to connect to this location to the internet. Please make sure, blah blah blah. I don't have my Blu-ray player connected to the internet. So I'm going to push cancel. Come on. And we're going to see how long that takes, okay? Because yesterday it took about 5 minutes for it to actually figure out that I pushed cancel. So anyway, this Terminator Anthology comes in this new packaging, and check this out. You slide it out like that, and then look at this right now. Does this remind you of the beginning of T2? Didn't 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 didn't. And then in the next scene, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger at a truck stop, and he goes into a bar and he takes some guy's leather pants. And I'm sorry to say, if you look at the guy whose ass he beat and he took his clothes, I would not want to wear that guy's leather pants. That guy did not look like he bathed every day. He did not have proper hygiene, and plus leather pants don't breathe very good, so you just know there's all kind of bacteria floating around in there. Alright, so let me show you what the inside of this bad boy looks like. There we go. There we go. You open this up and you have all of the movies. You know, you got the Terminator, you got T2 Judgment Day, you got Terminator Rise of the Machines, and then you got Terminator Salvation. And we'll talk about each and every single one of these movies in just 1 second, but look at all that goodness right there in one package. Okay, about 4 minutes later it popped up. See, I really do think Skynet, there's something, I think a corporation implanted a virus on this Blu-ray, and now it uploaded to my TV, and now it's watching me. So the first movie is The Terminator. This is a classic movie. I mean, this was James Cameron's first big movie. I mean, don't tell me Piranha 2. I don't want to hear that bullshit, okay? That doesn't count. So The Terminator came out back in the mid-1980s, and it kind of took everyone by surprise. This was a hard, rated R, badass action movie, and I'm going to keep saying badass, but I'm sorry, it's the best way I can describe the Terminator movies. Anyway, the first Terminator movie is very 1980s. It has nothing but synth-sounding music in it, and it definitely did not hold up as well as T2 did, but it's a really great gritty action movie, and you really felt like the production in that movie was kind of limited. Like, they did what they could. There wasn't a lot of, you know, steady shots. They were kind of, you felt like they were running around with cameras trying to get all these shots on a budget, and they were doing like guerrilla tactic style filmmaking. So anyway, Terminator on Blu-ray definitely is, it's good, it's better than the DVD, but I can't really praise it much more than that. Here's the problem. The original release of Terminator was one of the earlier Blu-ray releases. So they didn't go back in and do the best transfer they could. There's a lot of, you know, compression issues. There's some color banding, and you can definitely see it in the skin tones of the movie. By the way, Linda Hamilton, I'm strangely attracted to her. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. I like Linda Hamilton. Alright, and the next movie you have in the franchise is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and this is my favorite action movie of all time. This is the definition of quality action movies. You know, it's filmed well, it looks amazing, every scene in this movie is epic, and it's all practical stunts, you know, well, except for, you know, you have the T-1000 who turns into liquid metal at some points in the movie, but other than that, everything is basically a practical effect, and it really shows in this movie, because you feel the intensity of all the action scenes. You feel like you're there and something dangerous can happen, and you know, it's not just CGI slop, you know, thrown at the screen. Not to mention you have Edward Furlong. I know what you're thinking. What are you going to say about Edward Furlong? That kid in this movie, now some people I could say, you know, they might have found him annoying. I love that kid in this movie. I see myself in that role, you know, this little asshole. You're not my father, Todd. And I get on my dirt bike and ride away with my little redheaded friend on the back who has a mullet. And also in T2, they made Arnold the good guy. You know, you start off with the original Terminator, he's just this bad, silent type character, and now Arnold is the hero, and I think that really gave Arnold the chance to show his charisma in the franchise, and that was the smartest possible movie they could have made. It still holds up today. You know, this movie's 20 years old, and it's like, I'm sorry to say, action movies nowadays can't even hold a candle to this. A candle? What is this, 1800? They can't hold, I don't know, a flashlight. They can't shine a light on this movie. You know, this movie just stands above and beyond any action movie. You know, how do you top it? It's T2, damn. Okay, let's talk about Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. This movie was kind of a big letdown for me. You know, you had Nick Stahl playing John Connor. It's like, just get Edward Furlong, you know? Just get him to come back. And then you got Arnold in the movie, and he's looking as good as he could. And the thing about Rise of the Machines was, it was a little bit overly produced. You know, they kind of took out the practical aspect of it, and they threw in all this slop-ass CGI. Plus, T3 was a little too campy and corny for its own good, especially, I mean, it was funny, especially the shot where Arnold gets his leather pants from, like, a gay bar. What were they thinking? Now, the most positive thing I can say about Terminator 3 was I loved the way that it ended. And that's what I wanted more of. At the end of the movie, spoilers, but I'm sure everyone's seen T3. At the end of the movie, you know, John Connor ends up at this nuclear fallout shelter that goes underground. And, you know, the whole concept of the movie was not to stop Judgment Day, but to survive it. That's what I wanted more of. I would love a movie just set underground in a nuclear fallout shelter. Give me more of that, you know? That's what half this movie should have been. Or at least Salvation should have started out from that point. I don't know.
This is John Connor. If you're listening to this, you are the Resistance.
Now, Terminator Salvation was directed by MT. I don't know, the guy who doesn't really know how to direct a movie. Now, Terminator Salvation, I don't hate it. At some points, I really like it, but there was little things that they could have tweaked in this movie to really make it stand out. Another thing was Sam Worthington. That guy did not belong in this movie. I don't like Sam Worthington as an actor, or even a human being for that matter. I never met the guy. Had they just tweaked a little bit here and there and maybe had a different director, I think it could have been a lot better than it was. But what we got was kind of like a mediocre action movie that's kind of forgettable. Now, one of my favorite scenes in Salvation was the CGI Arnold versus Christian Bale at the end of the movie. You know, it kind of gave me goosebumps when, you know, you had the younger version of Arnie, but he was all CGI'd out. You know, he breaks the door off and he goes dun 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 dun, and the camera pans up and it kind of has like this digital smoke over his weenus, and it keeps panning up, and they kind of have a fight scene, but basically the CGI Arnie just throws Christian Bale back and forth rather than just grabbing his head and ripping it off. So that's the Terminator Anthology, guys. Basically what it took all the Terminator Blu-rays, put them in one nice package, and put it on the shelf again. And so if you guys don't own all of the movies, or you guys would rather have, you know, a nice little tidy package with the Terminator eyes looking out at you, stealing your soul, I recommend it. You know, I'm a huge fan of the franchise, even if I can nitpick at the last two movies.
You live